Once you settle onto the mat, go ahead. Tent the knees together. Allow the heels to be the width of the mat. Wiggle the shoulder blades underneath by pressing through the upper arms, getting a slight expansion through the collarbones. Close the eyes and turn the palms up. Take a few breaths. Let each exhale go a little bit longer than your inhale, just to kind of settle into the body. Light inhale through the nostrils. A deeper exhale. Sinking inward. Releasing the day. On the next breath, just take the right hand, sweep it up overhead. Get a nice stretch through, palm can face inward, thumb downward. Get a nice stretch through that right side. Then release and slide the hand back down. And same thing with the left hand. Just glide it, kind of a half of a snow angel. Let it glide up, turn the thumb down, palm in. Just get a really nice stretch as you reach the fingertips away from the crown of the head. Sweep the arm back down again. Move back to breath in the body. And that little bit longer exhale, just kind of sinking in. Now, snow angel both arms up. Let them reach overhead, thumbs down, and just stretch through the fingers. Let's take the fingertips up towards the ceiling, clasp the hands, and place your right knee into the hands. Pull the chin up and tuck the knee in. Release the head down, the arms overhead, and just temp that right knee in. Let it rest against the left, but reach equally through both arms. Then reaching the arms right up to the ceiling, palms face to each other, clasp the left knee in both hands, lift the chin up, and pull the knee in. Releasing that left knee down, let it drop into the right knee and take both arms overhead again. Then go ahead and toe heel the feet until they're flat on the ground next to the heels are in line with the sit bones, knees are facing straight up. Let's lift the hips up, reach through the arms, but also reach the knees in the opposite direction. Take a few breaths, engaging the glutes, hamstrings, and the breath. Go ahead and roll the spine down. Find each vertebra on the way down so you can flatten your lower back. And then pick up the right knee again. Let's clasp the hands over the right knee and pull the chin up. Now this time, stretch out with the left leg. Kind of activate that left leg a bit so that the toes go up towards the ceiling and the heel goes to the front wall. Then take your left hand over the top of the right foot. We're going to take our right hand, anchor it down, and then roll across the body with this bind. Keep a nice, strong, or deep bend in that right knee, and take your gaze over the right shoulder. Now release the foot, but clasp the hands, and when you roll to your back, lift the chin up and pull the right knee into the chest. Then take your right hand, grab the inside. We'll start with the right heel. As the right leg goes off to the side, you can slide it down. Anchor down with the left arm and stretch outward. Stay active in both legs, active in this left arm. Release that foot, clasp the hands, pull the right knee up into the chest and the chin in. And then just take that left hand again over, keep a nice bend in the knee. Take a spinal twist, left leg over, or right leg over to the left. Gaze over your right shoulder. Rolling back, remember, let go of the foot, clasp the knee, pull the chin up. And then switch the right hand to the foot, anchor down in the left, and stretch it out. Take a bend in both knees. Place the feet on the ground, hands overhead, and lift the hips up. Now, as you lift the hips up, again, engage the glutes and try to reach the fingertips to the wall behind you and the knees to the wall in front of you. Roll the spine down nice and slow. Find each vertebra on the way down. Clasp the hands over the left knee. And pull the knee up to, or the knee, pull the chin to the knee. Let's stretch out with that right leg. Make sure that the heel presses away and the toes go up. Take the right hand over the top of the left foot. Let's anchor down with this left hand. And then take a twist across, keep a good bend in the knee. When you keep the bend in the knee this early in the practice, it lets us stay anchored in the back body. A little control in the core, but still a nice twist. Release the foot, clasp the hands, hands over the knee, pull the chin up. And then move the left hand to the inside of the heel. Again, when you stretch the leg out, you can always slide your hand down the shin bone. Again, release the foot, clasp the hands around the left knee and lift the chin up. Let's transfer the right hand into the left foot and take this spinal twist. Rolling to your back clasp. Come in. And then transfer again to left hand to the left heel and anchor down in the right. Bending both knees, tap the knees together. Slide the hands down next to the hips, close the eyes and wiggle the shoulder blades underneath. Just a few breaths again. Today, that little bit longer exhale, just kind of signaling to the body to drop, or the breath to drop into the body. Let's sweep the right hand up overhead again. Reach with that right arm. Just reach and reach through the body. Then reach up with your left hand, clasp the right wrist, and go ahead and take a little tug of the wrist up towards the wall behind you. Breathe into the right side. Stretch out your left leg, pick up the right knee, and then take the left hand into the right knee. We'll do one more spinal twist, or two more actually, one more on each side. Take the left knee across the body, slide the right arm out to the side, and really move that breath into the side body here. See if you can still that little bit longer exhale, but also move the breath way back into that kidney area in the back of the body, right behind the twist. Roll to your back, tent the knees together and the palms face upward like Shavasana. Just a few breaths. Then go ahead and sweep that left hand up overhead. Get a nice reach through it first. Then take the right hand, grab that left wrist, and give that left arm a tug towards the wall behind you. Expanding into that left rib cage. And then stretch the right leg out, send the heel out, toe up. We'll pick up the left knee, move our right hand to that knee, and the left arm goes out to the side as we roll into the twist. When we roll to our back, clasp the hands again, but around both knees. Tuck the chin in. And now before we go into the more active part of our practice, we'll just do a few of these. Tuck in as tight as you can. When your feet go to the ground, lift the hips up and send the fingertips up overhead, palms facing up. Roll the spine down, just vertebra by vertebra. Pick up the knees and clasp around them. Pull that chin in. And then again, lift the hips, reach through the arms. Rolling the spine down again. So we lift up, clasp around the knees. One more. That lift, reach through the arms, and then roll. So we wrap around. Let's roll over to one side and then find a lift. We're going to come all the way to a stand and to the back of the mat. We're going to do something called the Vayu salute today. So we're in the back of the mat, feet are hips width distance. Let's bring the palms to touch. And just a few breaths in your mountain pose. Then go ahead and take the toes out. Keeping the palms together, we're going to drop down like an elevator into Malasana. Just drop into the inner groin, press the palms together. Elbows can be to the knees, and then we'll take a walk forward to table. As you're in table, drop the belly, lift the heart, and then on your exhale, move into cat pose. Each breath, lift the heart, and on each exhale, tuck the tailbone. Again. This time with the tuck of the tailbone, curl the toes under and press back into down dog. Lift that right leg up and then pull the knee into the chest and bring the chin to the knee. Kick it back, pull the knee in, kick it back. On this next one, pull the knee into the chest and bring it forward between the hands. As you bring it forward between the hands, we're going to find pyramid pose. Plant both feet down, find that pyramid shape up to the inner groin, and come to your tripod fingers. Straightening up through that front leg, lift the body up and send the palms back. Then bend deep into the knees, sweep the arms up to Virabhadrasana 1. And then sweep them forward, straighten the front leg, and send the palms way back behind you. And sweep, lift, and back. Straightening that front leg, dropping the chin, and one more, sweep to Virabhadrasana 1. Spend a few breaths here, kind of exploring the pose. Think of anchoring into your left heel, rotating the navel slightly to the right. Gaze can go forward or upward. Then sweeping the arms back to find your lift. Now, take your left hand and grab your right wrist. We're going to give a little tug with that arm. Instead of overhead, it's going to come down towards the tailbone. Then slowly bend at the waist to come forward and rotate the left shoulder up. We'll move into Trikonasana from here. Take a few breaths. Really drive that right hip back and let that left hip be moving towards the ground. Slide the left hand back to the hip, to the ground, and back into down dog. Lift the heels when you lower down to the knees. Right away, lift the heart. And on your exhale, tuck. Again, that lift. And then the tuck. One more. As you roll into the tuck of the tailbone, lift up and press back into down dog. Lifting the left leg up, pull the knee into the chest, and then kick it back. Knee into the chest, and kick it back. And one more. As the knees into the chest, plant that left foot forward between the hands. And then find your pyramid pose. You can adjust the length as you need to. Coming up through that left leg and lifting up. Once there, take the hands back, pull the kneecap right up into the hip, and then sweep forward, Virabhadrasana 1. Coming back, straighten the front leg, palms back, exhale, find your pose, and breathe. Sweeping forward, and stay for a few breaths. For a moment, pay attention to your right heel in the back. Find the outside edge of the foot as you rotate the navel slightly more to the left. Thigh, left, and breathe. Gaze can be forward, downward, or upward. And then sweeping back to straighten that front leg. And you'll take your left hand to grab your right wrist. No, right hand to grab your left wrist. Yes, that would be correct. Then right at the waist. And then rotate the right shoulder up. When we release the hands for Trikonasana, that bottom hand can go wherever you wish, but you have got this nice engagement and strength in the right rib cage. The breath really fill up the rib cage, lead the collarbones towards the front of the mat. Pull the navel slightly back to the spine on the exhale. Reach to the ground with both hands and slide back into down dog. Lifting the gaze and the collarbones, come forward to a plank position. Lower right to the belly, and then slide your hands to your lower rib cage. We'll tuck the chin in, lift the heels, and then lift the arms for a lotus pose. Just breathing the palms up, bringing the heels up, nice and neutral with the gaze and the chin. And then taking the hands back to the lower rib cage. Curl the toes under, press either through your knees for a kneeling plank or through the toes for a regular plank. Walk the knees underneath you for a table, and then walk your hands back to your feet. We're back in the back of the mat, deep bend in the right knee, and rotate it a little bit more to the right. You'll anchor down in your fingertips on this left side and get a nice stretch open. Then switch it fingertips down. Turn the right knee can go next to the hand and turn the left knee out as you lift up. Really reaching through that side body there. And then bring palms together, elbows to the knees and knees to the elbows. We're going to add a little bit of bandha work on when we go to our stand. Take your first two fingers, engage those like your peace fingers, lift up. I'll turn a little bit to the side. Now, stay planted with the toes, but lift your big toes up. Then a slight bend in the knee as you hook your fingers around your big toes. So the other toes are anchored down. Your knees can be as bent as you need to, but bend your elbows and try to lift your collarbones up and forward. You'll get a lengthening. Inhale here. When you exhale, tuck your chin in. Move the crown of the head to the ground, the elbows outward, shoulder blades back to the hips. Bringing that body forward and down. Then bend the knees a little, release the pressure in the arms and lift. Lift the collarbones, and again, elbows out. And get a nice stretch. Then releasing the fingertips, throw the arms all the way up. From here, we're going to pick up our right heel, turn the knee in, and move into tree pose. As we set that foot down, anchor into the foot, lift the left heel, turn the knee out, and then come to tree pose. Move the arms straight out away from the shoulders, plant the feet, bring the palms to touch at the heart. Close the eyes and just a few breaths here. Just like when we're on our back. A little slower exhale than inhale today, especially when we're consciously thinking about it. And get a nice anchoring feeling on that exhale. Maybe that little extra length in the exhale sinks the feet into the ground. Go ahead, open the eyes, kick your toes out again. We're going to drop back down to Malasana. Feel like an elevator coming down and down and down. Take a breath or two here, trying to drop deep into the crease of the hips. Kind of hook the thumbs to lift the rest of the spine upward. Then walk forward again into your table position. Now this time, when you're doing cat and cow, you can stay in knees to the ground. You could curl your toes under, and, or you could curl your toes under and have a little hover. And then drop the belly for a cow pose and cat pose. The inhale, you'll tilt. The exhale to tuck. Inhale to tilt and exhale to tuck. That next breath. Inhale to tilt, exhale to tuck, and then press back into down dog. Take a few breaths here. Find the 4 points touching the ground. Imagine the crown of the head reaching to the hands energetically. And then as you anchor to the feet, feel the sit bones lifting up towards the wall behind you. Lifting that right leg up. Lift that leg up. Let's pull the knee into the chest. Hover and then kick it back. Knee into the chest for the hover. And then kick it back. And again. And The next time we pull the knee in, scoop it up and in and forward between your hands. And again, plant that left foot. We're gonna rise up and press the arms back. And again, moving forward, sweep the arms to lift to Virabhadrasana 2, and then back and inhale here. Exhale, big action, lifting, and one more. Now this next time we come forward, and a few breaths here, straighten that front leg, really pull the kneecap right up into the hip joint. But then find your left heel, and from your left heel to your left hip pointer, try to rotate that thigh slightly inward. Now this time we're going to grab our, you have two options, grabbing the elbows with your opposite hand or a reverse namaste. If your pinky fingers will touch behind you, you can slide the hands up the back. Either way, front leg is straight, chest is open, navel's locked in, and your left hip is working towards your right. Then leading with the chin, come forward. If you need to take a little bend in the front knee, that's fine. But we're going to move into our intense west stretch. So moving forward in that pyramid pose, crown of the head reaching past the big toe of the right foot. Sit bones reaching to the wall behind you. Breath deep on each exhale. Find that bandhas of the pelvic floor and the respiratory diaphragm, walking up and inside the rib cage. And then a deep, deep bend in the right knee to lift the body back up again. Release the hands down and allow your left hand to grab your right wrist again. Now, as you grab your right wrist, still rotate that left hip inward, straighten the front leg, and bend at the waist, but just coming, crown of the head comes out of the crease of the hip. And then open to Trikonasana again. Think of this expansive area here. Heart center, solar plex, side of the ribs. Really breathe and expand on the inhale. Anchor down. Find length from crown of the head to tailbone on the exhale. Reach both hands forward and slide back into down dog. And again, find that deep anchoring feeling. Both hands. Find that you almost feel like you're in sand and you're anchoring them down. Crown of the head energetically reaches between the thumbs. They anchor down in the feet, and then energetically, the sit bones lift up to the wall behind you. Relax the throat, the jaw, and the eyes behind the eyelids. Lift that left leg up. Take the heel back and then pull the knee into the chest. Stretch it back and pull the knee in. And back. And stretch the leg back. And as you pull the knee in, take that left foot forward between the hands and find the anchoring of the right foot. Rise up. Inhale in this extension, and then exhale, Virabhadrasana. And again, breathing up and to lift. And breathing up and the next breath, breathing up, planting those hands back, and then bringing the hands to the opposite elbow or pinky finger up the spine. Lift the chin, engage your left quad, and then rotate that right hip towards the left thigh as we move forward. Once you find that forward fold, tuck the chin in, drive the left hip back and the right hip forward, and let yourself move into gravity. Deep breaths. And again, this is called intense west stretch. So there is an intensity to it. Use the bandhas, use the respiratory diaphragm lifting up and underneath the rib cage. And then a deep, deep bend in that left knee to lift the body back up. And release the arms down. Allow your right hand to grab your left wrist. Give it a little bit of a tug here. And then coming forward. Let's rotate the right shoulder upward and release into Trikonasana. Allow both hands to reach forward as they plant to the ground. Slide back into down dog. Then lifting the collarbones, move forward into your plank. So you move forward into your plank, engage the entire body. Right from your heels to the hands, crown of the head to the tailbone, and then slowly work your way down. Slide the right hand forward and roll directly to your side. We're going to take this left hand and then just plant it right to tripod fingers with the elbow lifting up. From here, pull the toes towards you and press out with the heels, and then lift both legs up together. Take a few breaths there, just really getting that deep engagement. Then pull the right knee up towards that left elbow. Release it back. Pull the left knee towards your left elbow. And pull that right knee in. And as you stretch it out this time, plant that right foot down, pull the left knee in, and then rotate it upward. We're going to grab the ankle, contract the shoulder blades, and just lift that left knee up towards the ceiling. We're going to try a half bow pose from here. So if you can, when you release, we have the hand on the inside here. And we're going to need to move the hand to the outside. But from here, when you release the foot or the ankle, just from here, start to rotate that left foot up. See if you can grab the top of the foot and then plant your pelvis down. Now, if you can't grab, you can just go ahead and lengthen out with that leg and bring both hands forward. But if you can, you're going to push the foot into the hand and lift the heart up. And then letting go, lower down, place your hands to your lower rib cage and lift up to plank. Walk the feet in a little to settle into down dog. And then really get anchored down. Hands sink down, feet sink down. Crown of the head is reaching between the hands and sit bones are lifting up. Take that feeling and move it right back to your plank. Press the ground away. Press the heels away. Slowly work your way down and then extend your left arm out. We're going to roll over to our left side and then flex our feet so that we can see our toes, and our fingertips will be right here on the ground in front of us with the elbow facing up. Now squeezing the ankles together and pulling the toes, pressing out with the heels, lift the legs up. And then bringing your left knee up towards your right elbow. And then stretching it back. And then right towards the elbow. And sending it back. And again. Left. And then back. And then bring the right. Now plant that left foot down and turn the right knee up, grab the ankle, and plant that foot down on that left thigh. Finding this position first. With a release of that foot, again, we're going to try to grab the top of the foot. So flip the foot up as you're rolling down and see if you can re-grab the top of the foot as the pelvis comes down. And then drag yourself back. And again, if we can't get a hold, just lengthen out with the leg and have both hands forward. Lift the heart. Breathe deep into this and press the foot into the hand rather than pulling with your hand. And with a release, sliding the forehead forward, come down. And again, curling the toes, press up into plank, and then walk your knees in. From here, we're going to go back into Malasana. Walk yourself back to the toes, and then just kind of, with your fingertips down, kind of play around with rotating one knee and the other knee. Then seeing if you can walk the hands back and drop elbows to, or bring elbows to knees and knees to elbows, and press and find a little bit of a hover. Pulling the lower rib cage up and in. This is the beginning of our arm balances, our crow pose. We probably won't go into those today, but it's that beginning feeling there. Now, first two fingers, plant the feet down, lift right up from here, and then soft knees as you fold forward to grab your big toes. Once you have the big toes, lift the heart, lift the collarbones, and then elbows move outward, pull the crown of the head down, and try to lift the belly up and underneath your rib cage. Uddiyana. Then release that, soften deep into the knees and try a second one. Inhale, and on your exhale, release the toes to float your way up and move the arms just straight out. We're going to bring the palms to touch and take a few breaths here. And kicking those toes back out. See if you can drop deep, deep, deep into your hips, malasana. Yogic squat. Press the palms together. Then walking yourself forward. Inhale, lift the heart, and this time on the exhale, just simply roll back into down dog. We're going to take our right leg up, but lift the hip as you bend your knee. Open deeply into that right hip, left inner groin. Then pull the knee right into the chest and forward between your hands for a pigeon pose. Lift the heart. Drop deep into the pelvis here. Folding forward, you can stack your hands and place the forehead down. And take a few breaths. Lifting the forehead up, we'll walk the hands back. Just think of lifting the solar plex up, lifting the heart. Now we can stay here for a few breaths or try to maybe grab that left foot again. So just check in. This is a bus stop. So we can stay right here for a few breaths or left foot and see if it comes into your hand. And if it does, push the foot into the hand, just opening up the heart a bit more. If you do have a hold of the foot, let's set the foot down and then set the right hip down. As you set the right hip down, we're going to swing the left leg all the way around for a seated twist. So left foot will come across. It can be in your ankle or across the knee. And we'll take a wrap of our right arm to twist to the left. with a release of the right arm, let's sweep this left leg back, curl the toes under and press back into plank. So when you sweep back, curl those toes, plant the hands and press back into plank. Press the ground away, crown of the head and collarbones leading forward and heels back. And then lift up into down dog. Lifting that left leg up, lift the hip, bend the knee. Taking that knee forward between the hands for a pigeon pose. And again, lengthen back with that right leg and walk the hands back a little bit to open and lift. Heart, solar plex, collarbones. Then folding forwards, allow the hands, the forehead to come down on the hands. A lift of the head and a walking back of the arms. Again, we can press through the arms and just kind of lift up for a back bend. If possible, flipper that foot a few times onto the ground and see if it'll go into the right hand. If so, gaze forward, press the foot into the hand, and find your lift. If you do have a hold of the foot, let's release that down and set the hip to the ground. As we set the hip to the ground, sweep around and coming into the twist. Elbow or arm across as you twist to the right. Gazing over that right shoulder, anchoring down into the sit bones. When we unwind from this twist, this time we're just going to unwind that foot to bring both feet in front of us. As you do so, grab underneath the knees and do a couple cat and cows. Let's start with a cat pose, resting the center of the chest back and then lifting the collarbones. And move back and forth. And one of the things I've found is that breath can go either way. Any breath you can do one way, you can do the other. So you could lift, you could do inhale on the lift or inhale as you roll back. Let's slow it down a little bit though. And then start to make that exhale a little bit longer each time. Now the next time the center of the chest goes back, let's work one hand behind us and then the other. Slide the feet in to roll completely down to your back and turn the palms up. Now you could bring the soles of the feet to touch for Shavasana. You could touch the knees or extend the legs out. Let's do a few cleansing breaths here where we inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. That long, deep sigh. On that last exhale, let yourself just kind of sink and settle. Get a full release. The muscles soften around the bones. The skin soften around the muscles. So move our pinky fingers and thumbs away from each other. Just kind of wiggle those fingers a few times. And then sweep the arms up overhead. Make a right and left stretch. And roll to one side. You can cradle the head in the hands and the knees to the chest. And then find your lift up to a seated position. Thank you for joining me. Alas, we can return to our life with a calm mind. Strong, open, and restored body. Namaste.
Thank you, Laura.
Oh, thank you.